So, welcome to our first ever episode.
Wait, are we doing this?
We're doing this. Okay, well, this is the first ever
I like it.
episode of Twerk Ethic. My name is JT. What is your name, buddy?
My name is, well, I go by Cooley. It's even on my shirt. I wore my name tag today.
I honestly, how many times have I called you Cooley?
Today.
Today.
That's it.
Times today plus 2. Let's give 2 for the past 10 years or whatever.
Oh yeah,
There's got to be.
It's
2
not
other
very
times.
often.
However, I do feel like everyone else calls you Cooley.
For the most part, yeah. It's fun to say, and it's different, and people just don't know a lot of Coolies. So there's not much of us around.
Do you ever sit back and wonder, why does Jeremy not call me Cooley? Or do you say, Jeremy's awesome because he calls me Nathan? And then if you say that, what are you saying to the people who call you Cooley? Right?
Yeah. Well, that's favoritism. And you're my favorite.
Which is my favorite. I think favoritism is my favorite.
Yeah.
But what do you want to go by? I guess?
It doesn't matter. If you call me Nathan, I'm going to answer to that. If you call me Cooley, I'm going to answer to that.
What about jackass?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dipstick.
Yeah. What about dodo bird?
Oh, man. That was my name in 3rd grade.
I think podcast, I want to go by JT.
Okay.
And a lot of people call me JT. I think the same people that call me JT call you Cooley.
Right. Because I call you Jeremy.
That is true.
I never call you JT.
It's the sweetest thing you do.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I think so.
I mean, it's something I don't really care. I don't care if you call me JT. I don't care if you called me Jeremy. Some people call me Cowboy JT.
Now, I remember the first time I was tempted by the devil. Went down to Chick-fil-A on Sunday morning by Elvira's movie theater and pawn shop, and it was closed. And I looked that devil right in the face. I said, devil, I'll be back tomorrow, boy.
Which I'm not Cowboy JT. Cowboy JT is Cowboy JT. Some
true.
people think we're the same person. I disagree.
That's right. And not many people know this, but two totally different people.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't even live here. He lives in Texas or something like that.
I don't even have his address. But somehow I can always get him to film.
Yeah. I've heard Texas or Oklahoma somewhere.
Yes.
In there.
I heard
It's the cowboy hat.
I heard Pasadena. But
California?
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, Cowboy JT,
he's a big USC fan. I forgot about that.
He's incredibly unpredictable.
I think we're gonna get canceled after the next episode, but
Yeah.
this episode I'm just gonna latch on to it and just
Yeah.
hope for the best.
Can I be honest with you?
Huh?
You need to put all your eggs in this basket
All of them,
for the rest of your life.
hatched or unhatched.
And if this episode doesn't go well, looking at you, audience, I'm not sure you have a place to sleep tonight. If you haven't already noticed, I'm sipping some bourbon. Do you want some bourbon?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think we should toast this off.
Yeah, let's toast it off. First,
Do we have to toast?
Mr.
Oh.
Thomas Haswell recommended this bourbon to me. So, Thomas, thank you.
Oh yeah,
This is the Evan Williams.
I know him.
Bottled in bond. I was drinking the Evan Williams single barrel, and I was bragging on it. And he said, dude, have you had the bottled in bond? It's even cheaper. And I said, I have not. And then I went to the liquor store, bought it, tried it, and it sucks. I'm just Just kidding. It's actually really, really good. So,
Okay.
Thomas, thank you very much.
Mr. Haswell.
Because we're going to toast our very first show to the bourbon that you recommended. And don't choke.
Right. Well, I can smell it.
What are your thoughts?
About Thomas Haswell?
Yeah, we need to talk about this guy. I think sometimes he's too good of a person.
You know what? Yeah, he is. And he's about to get married. And
By the way, congratulations, buddy.
absolutely. Thanks for the non-invite. No. It's COVID. That's why.
Yes.
100 proof, huh?
But Nate, the other Nate from the lounge,
Oh, yeah.
he was telling me that Whiskey Advocate put them back on the map. So I had never even heard of Whiskey Advocate, except for a couple months ago, my father-in-law, he texted me. He said, do you want a subscription to Cigar Aficionado and the Whiskey Advocate? Yeah. And I said, don't ever text me again. And no, I did not say that, but I did tell him,
Right.
of course I want this for free. So
Sure.
I got the first copy of the Whiskey Advocate, and guess what was in there? Evan Williams, Bottled and Bond.
There you go.
And so Nate tells me that Whiskey Advocate put them back on the map. Thomas Haswell says, try it out. I try it out. I get the Whiskey Advocate. I read the Whiskey Advocate. It's in there. People are great. Those two people are great.
Right.
This episode is sponsored by Cannon Plumbing. Do you know Clint?
I do.
Clint is a really good dude.
Nice guy.
He's hilarious. And we're going to have him on this podcast, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. He's
sure.
he would do really well on this, and I want you guys to meet him.
Yep.
But I've used Cannon Plumbing several times, unfortunately. It's unfortunate because of what happened.
Right.
But man, was he there to save the day. I called him in the middle of the night or text him. He's like, all right, I'm on my way. I'm like, nah, man, I got the water shut off.
Oh,
Like, you can come in the morning.
it's like the Dwight Schrute of plumbing.
Oh, yeah, he was ready.
Sheesh.
He was ready, dude.
All right.
But no, he came the next day and looked at it and fixed me up. And he's A, saved me a ton of money, and B, he's really gotten me out of some binds. So Cannon Plumbing, check them out.
Yep.
So to find out more about Cannon Plumbing and whether or not they service your area, go to cannonplumbingllc.com. I think that we should tell people how we met.
Okay.
And the funny part will be, do we remember it in the same manner?
Probably not.
Okay. So who starts?
I'm gonna say no. We don't, because I don't know if I recall.
Dude, what kind of friend are you?
Well, I know it was.
Here's my recollection.
Okay.
I remember you far before you remember me. See, I started out this friendship as a fan.
Right.
All right. And I remember, I think you were playing a Paramore song. And I was like, dude, this guy is hitting the fire out of these drums. It seems like you would hit the head and that head would hit the bottom head. That's how hard you were hitting the drums. And I'm like, you know how much I love rock and roll.
Mm-hmm.
And
You're
I'm
a
like,
big fan.
dude, I got to know this drummer. Yeah. But here's the thing. Tell me if you agree. Mm-hmm. I feel like musicians have this weird sort of unspoken rule where you're not supposed to really say you're a musician to a musician that you want to befriend. And you
Yes.
don't really, and you also don't really talk about music to a musician until you're already friends.
Right.
So knowing that, every time I saw you, I was like, I can't talk to him. I can't say, hey man, I play guitar.
Right.
Want to be friends?
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way.
Right.
So I thought about it, and you played Prime the middle school ministry.
Yeah.
And afterwards, you were just in the hall by yourself.
This is all from 12 Stone Church, by the way.
Yes. And this was the good old days. Just going to say that. It was the good old days.
Absolutely.
I mean,
I agree.
I think I met most of my friends during that time period.
Absolutely. Oh, me too.
And I would say the people that I met in that time frame led me to my wife, which is even, I mean, so and my job.
That's cool.
Like, so many.
Yeah. My job, definitely.
Yes.
For sure.
So I remember you being outside of Prime. You were standing by yourself. I was like, what a loser.
Yeah.
And then I had you. I was like, he's a loser, and I can jump on this friendship. And I got you.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I walked up to you.
Yeah.
And I said, hey, man, I just want to tell you, I love how hard you hit the drums. Like, seriously, everyone tells you to stop hitting the drums that hard and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. I'm just here to tell you, I love it.
Yeah.
You know what you said? Thanks, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
And we never talked again.
Okay.
But that was a seed. I planted a seed.
Yeah, you did.
You know? Planted that seed.
Because I do remember that.
Yeah.
For sure.
But then I disappeared. Right? And then we had my famous 80s party. You remember this?
So good.
Okay. This is the best party I've ever thrown in my life. Backstory, I don't throw parties.
Nope.
I throw, especially at this age, I throw get-togethers where there's like 4, 5 people. Mm-hmm. I smoke 2, 3 cigars. Mm-hmm. I drink a little bit of whiskey, maybe make people steak, maybe make them burgers, maybe watch a sport.
Right.
And then you got to go.
Yeah.
You got to go home. It's just a gathering.
Yeah.
You know, whatever. I don't really throw parties, but I didn't really have that many friends when I moved here. And I was like, I'm going to throw a party. And I remember being so obsessed with the 80s. Like, I had 187 song Spotify playlists. It took me, I'm not kidding you, it took me like a month to build.
All right.
And it's so good, man.
Yeah.
I still have it. It's so good.
I bet.
So I was obsessed with the 80s. And I'm like, all right, I want to throw the best 80s party ever. I just want to knock it out of the park.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if you remember all this stuff, but everyone dressed up.
Yeah, I remember that.
Even me. I'm not a dresser-upper, but I dressed up.
I think you had like the black wig or something like that.
Yeah.
Long hair.
Actually, hold on. I think I have a picture of this.
Yeah, you were definitely the 80s hairband rocker.
Dude, I found it.
Punk.
I found it. For those of you on YouTube, we're going to show this to you. But dude, check this out.
Surrounded by women.
Surrounded by women. That's Bree and Heather and Valerie.
Yeah.
And they are great people, by the way.
Yep.
But that 80s party, it was awesome. And I had like big screen TVs in every room playing like Weird Science or, Ferris Bueller or, 16 Candles or whatever. And had great music. So that party was great. Yeah. And I remember you might not remember this part, but I remember you commenting in our Facebook group back when I was on Facebook. Yeah. You were like, are any of you guys even old enough to know what the 80s are? And I was thinking like, what a jerk. Like this guy must not be a nice guy. Now looking back, I know your sense of humor.
Yeah.
And it's funny.
Plus I knew half of those people anyway.
Yeah. And you knew half of them, but I'm like, man, I think I want to know this guy, but maybe he's just going to be mean. And, which by the way, Nathan is not mean at all.
No, I try not to be anyway.
Yeah. So I remember we were halfway through the party to get a hold of you. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's good though.
That's how you know it's the good
it's
stuff.
Real smooth.
So smooth.
So anyway, you were saying?
Yes. So one of my favorite moments of the 80s party, seriously, we were about halfway through and the dance circles were starting. And I certainly don't dance.
Right.
But I was encouraging the dance circles because though I don't dance, I like watching other people dance.
Right.
And I remember Phil Collins came on In the Air Tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess everyone knew who you were.
80s personified.
Because you got in the middle and everyone moved out of the way. It was almost like they reported to you.
Yeah.
They're like, the boss is here. All right. And so like everyone moved out of the way of you. Meanwhile, I'm on the stairwell. Is it stairwell?
No, I think a stairwell is in the
This is a stairwell.
in a building.
This is a stairwell.
Right. You do that very well. That's a stair very well.
I didn't even blink.
No.
Anyway,
I lost.
I'm on stairs.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm watching this. Almost like I have balcony seats, you know, because this is about to go down. And let me tell you, it went down. Because, you know, everybody goes, everyone knows that part. Most people don't know where it is, but everyone knows it's coming.
I didn't for the longest time.
And everyone knows what the feel is.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, well, he's going to do the feel. No. You did the feel.
Mm-hmm.
But right out of the feel, back into the verse, right? Mm-hmm. You had a corresponding dance with it.
Yeah.
So it's like, but you're like dancing and everyone was losing their mind. I'm like, God, this guy's so cool. He came to the 80s party and he nailed it. And I remember saying something after that. After your dance, I said something. Right. And people busted out laughing. Mm-hmm. And then you said something in response to me, and people busted out laughing. And then you went home.
That's right, I left.
We never even talked. So we had all this these combination of gatherings where we would make each other laugh or talk to each other, but never had an actual conversation. Then it happened, and I remember this part. Mm-hmm. So I remember working on a song. I was writing. I don't typically write worship music because I hate it. I'm just going to be honest with you. I do not hate the Lord. Right. I am a devout Christian.
True.
I just don't like worship music.
I hear you.
That's just the way it is.
I got you.
So I typically don't write it.
Yeah.
But I remember being with Nice, and we wrote a song. And he's like, hey, I want to pitch this song. So we wrote it, recorded a demo, and then that Sunday, I believe it was, me and you were scheduled to play Sunday night at 12 Stone for the first time ever.
Yeah.
So for those of you who don't know, Nathan is a drummer, very good drummer, does it professionally. I'm a guitar player, bass player, sometimes drummer, more recently producer. And music is a big part of our life. But that night was the first time that we ever played on the same stage. And you came up to me and you said, this was behind stage. You said, hey, dude, I heard the song that you and Jonathan Neese wrote. It's really good. And I was like a little girl because you got to remember, I was still your fan.
Right.
Not your friend.
Yeah.
And so my insides exploded because I was so happy that as a musician, you gave me some daps. You know,
right.
You're like, props, dude.
Right.
And so I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
This is awesome. So then we proceed to play together.
Yeah.
And it was great. I think
I was playing bass.
I was playing bass.
Yeah.
And we quickly realized that as a rhythm section, we were pretty solid.
Right.
And then afterwards, we went to see Arthur. Arthur.
It was the remake of the old school one.
With Russell Brand. Mm-hmm. But see, I can't remember if you asked me or if I asked you.
Oh, to go?
To go. I thought it was just me and you.
No, there was other people that went.
See, this is my romantic brain.
Here's Well, I think the thing was I knew the group that was going, and you were there, so that means I probably did ask you to go, which would make sense.
Yeah.
It's just like my friends are going. I know you. It's just like just come with us.
Destiny,
if you're not doing anything.
Destiny makes sense.
Yeah.
And that makes sense.
Right. Who's Destiny?
I don't know, but she has children.
Yeah.
So, okay, so we went to that.
Right.
Okay, all right, fine. There are people that went with us.
Yeah.
But afterwards, in front of the Barnes & Noble, Mall of Georgia, we started talking. And we talked for like 3 hours. You know?
Oh, yeah.
It's like it's almost like a relationship taking off. But we talked for 3 hours about everything.
Right.
And then from that moment on, we were literally best friends.
Yeah.
And then, we became better friends through cigars and Boulder Creek.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
Boulder Creek is the closest thing I've ever had to stomping grounds.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Old location.
Lajero, the cigar lounge.
That's
our current.
That's the new spot.
I think that's our Cheers.
For sure.
Right? So, I walk in and Ken's like, "What's up, Jeremy?" Nate's like, "What's up, Jeremy?" And here comes Chuck, and then here comes Cooley walking in, and
right,
everybody knows your name.
Yeah,
everybody remembers what you were doing 2 days ago, and how did your gig go?
Yeah,
and,
which is pretty cool.
I've often wondered. Of course, I love cigars just for the sake of cigars, but that lounge, man, there's so many good people.
Yeah,
some of my best friends now I met there at the lounge.
For sure.
And I guess since I grew up in Waycross, for everyone who doesn't know, I grew up in Waycross, Georgia, South Georgia. There's always like this desire I have.
And so did my dad.
That's right. And so, I think Burt Reynolds was born in Waycross. I don't think he lived there. I think they're like passing through.
Yeah. I think he lived in Florida.
Yeah. Graham Parsons.
Also, side note, speaking of Graham, my friend Patrick Stevens, just had a baby boy.
Congratulations.
Named Graham.
Honey Graham. I got to tell you something. That guy, I think he's one of the best guitar players I've ever seen.
Pat Stevens.
Seriously, Patrick.
Stupid good.
Seriously, you are such an incredible player.
Yeah.
And I have seen a lot of good players. Mm-hmm. Every time I watch you play guitar, I'm like, I don't ever want that guy to watch me play guitar. You know what I'm saying? But he can do it all.
Yeah.
He can do it all. So congrats, man. That's really,
Pat.
That's fantastic news.
Awesome.
Wish I could remember his name. I don't think he ever told me his name, but the chef at Little Tokyo.
Yeah, I think that's what we just called him.
Yeah. He pulled me back there one day and he's like, Jeremy, come here. And he built this sushi and he slams it on the table. He's like, $6.95. And then he make another one. He's like, slam it down. He's like, $4.95. But when I took Sarah Carter there, by the way, Sarah Carter is a double name. People are probably going to think it's a different last name.
Is it hyphenated?
It is not hyphenated, but it is executed as if it was hyphenated.
Got it.
So her last name is Thomas, which is my name.
Right.
But her, name is Sarah Carter, not Sarah. But a lot of times I just call her SC.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, first time I took Sarah Carter there, I walk in the door and he goes, "Oh, Jeremy." And I said, "What's up, man?" He goes, "If you're with Jeremy, your meal's on me." And I was like, see, that's the stuff I live for.
Nice.
I live for that.
Free.
Free. $6.95 for you, for Jeremy, free. Do you have any place that you feel like a regular outside of Lajero?
Let's see. Well, I mean, Hendrick Dodge Chrysler because I had to take my car there so much to get it fixed. But I recently bought a new truck from them. So
maybe
nice people though.
Maybe dry cleaning.
Yeah, dry cleaning. Yes,
absolutely. What about Jay Christopher?
Oh yeah, the whole staff knows me.
See, that's amazing.
For sure.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much the basis of our friendship. Mm-hmm. Now, obviously, I told most of this story.
Yeah.
Do you remember it differently, or do you remember something else?
No, the first meeting was pretty much how I remembered it. But I remember you mentioning that you didn't say you played guitar. You said you played
mandolin.
Yeah. But you played an instrument or just music in general. Yeah. It's like, yeah, I used to be in a band, but you didn't say what you played or anything like that. So you led with that, which was awesome for me. So it's like my guard went down, and I was like,
it's for real though. It's a real thing.
Oh, it's a real thing
about the guard
for sure.
Like, and if you know, and you know how to So advice for someone who wants to be friends with a professional musician or a very good musician.
Yeah.
Play your cards, but most of the time it's going to go the best if you just talk to them about something that's non-musical.
Right.
Like maybe you like Star Wars. Like I would recommend someone coming up to you and being like, dude, I saw you have a Star Wars shirt on. Have you seen The Mandalorian or whatever? They're
all day.
Almost always they're going to become friends with you faster.
It's kind of true.
Doing that.
Yeah.
Instead of, hey man, I saw you play drums. We should jam sometime.
Yeah.
I play the bass.
Right.
9 times out of 10, he don't really play the bass. Cannon Plumbing. He's the best.
He is the best.
He is the best.
Yeah.
Do you know Clint?
Yeah.
I think Clint's a great guy.
Yeah.
And I've used him.
He's the best.
At least 3-4 times.
Right.
And before that, I used him as a friend. And he's a good dude. Yeah. But he's got a great business. Check him out.
Yeah, for sure.
Go to cannonplumbingllc.com. And I'm glad that I waited so long because it took us like a year.
Yeah. And not to say that we can never be friends if you mention music at first. It's just kind of like...
It takes a while. Now that we are friends, we've crossed that barrier. All we do is talk about music.
Yeah.
We will nerd out all day long.
Yeah.
About the best Frank Sinatra horn section.
Yeah.
So we love talking about music, but it's so weird. It has to come up so organically. Mm-hmm. And I know it's not just me and you. I mean, Jared Poff, it's the same way.
Yeah.
It's like, poor Jared, Bobby, introduced Jared to me as a musician.
Oh, really?
So Bobby didn't know the rules. But Bobby's amazing.
Yeah.
Right?
Bobby's not a musician either.
No. So. But Bobby's amazing.
Yeah.
And probably one of the more social, he has great social skills.
Sure.
But he didn't know the unwritten rule that we're talking about. Mm-hmm. And I could see it on Jared's face. Jared's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
He has ruined. I wanted to be friends with Jeremy, and he has ruined this.
Right.
Because Bobby came in gunslinging. He's like, hey man, Jared's a drummer. He played drums on his brother's country album, and he plays, this church. And Bob, he's like, and Jared, you could just see it on his face. Is like, this is over.
Yeah, exactly.
But Jared ended up being a pretty awesome guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
So to your point, it still works out. Yeah. And
absolutely.
I tell you the reason it worked out for Jared. Jared is a phenomenal musician.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the pop punk stuff because it leads me to the Sound of Music story.
Right.
So I used to be in a pop punk band. Mm-hmm. Think like the Starting Line or Fall Out Boy, All American Rejects. Not quite Blink-182. Like Blink-182 is like classic pop punk.
Right.
But a little bit more like 2005, 2006 Pop punk was like huge.
Right.
And we were doing it. Well, during the quarantine, I decided that I had nothing to do. That wasn't a decision, that was a reality.
Right.
But I decided from Jared was like, or I asked, Jared and I were Zooming and having a cigar. I said, hey man, what are you doing to keep yourself like preoccupied? You watch it, like what movies are you watching? What TV shows are you watching? And Jared goes, dude, I'm recording music. And I was like, oh my God, that's what I'm going to do. And, you know, I had started like 10 years ago and sold all my stuff.
Yeah.
And always wanted to be a producer. But then during the quarantine, I'm not kidding you, I have put hundreds of hours into recording and like learning how to mix and recently learning how to master. And I literally wrote 30 pop punk cover songs.
Yeah.
Of like, my first one was Carly Rae Jepsen.
Hey, I just met you, and this is crazy, but here's my number, so call me maybe.
I can't remember what the second one was, but it was like Katy Perry, Taylor Swift.
We just keep
Right.
Ended up moving on to like Snoop Dogg.
When the pimp's in the crib, mom, drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot. When the pigs try to get at you, park it like it's hot. Park it like it's hot. Park it like it's hot.
Dogg and Eminem. I did Cardi B. I did Cardi B twice. And one of the ones we did was Sound of Music. And this one was cool because it wasn't just me. It was you, and you were recording the drums remotely. So at your house, you recorded the drums, and then you would send that audio to me.
Yeah.
And then I would, well, actually, the way we did it, I would write the guitar part, send you the guitar part.
Right.
You'd write the drums. And then, this is amazing to me. We said Jared should play the bass. And so text Jared, and Jared's like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. So he comes over into the studio that we're currently in, and we start walking him through the parts, and immediately he's recording bass. He's like writing bass, and really good bass
Oh, yeah.
to the Sound of Music song.
Yep.
Well, he nails it. I mix it, whatever, send it to you guys. All is cool. Well, a week later, I don't know if you remember this. A week later, he texts me and you, and he was like, hey, I just heard the original. What the heck? Like, he
That's
had
right.
never
I
even
forgot about that.
heard the Do Re Mi song,
Yeah.
but came in
Totally forgot about that.
and recorded, like just nailed my version, the pop punk version. So his first ever exposure to the Do Re Mi song was my pop punk version, which makes me so happy.
Right.
And then he goes and hears the original, and he's like, "What on earth?" And I'm like, "Welcome to my brain." hear pop punk all the time. I still listen to it
Yeah.
all the time. It's like my favorite. I don't know why. It's just my favorite style of music, especially in the summertime.
Yeah.
I think maybe I like the drums a lot too.
Right.
The drums are huge.
The drums sound good in punk pop.
Yeah, and they're very loud, and
Yep. Cut through nicely.
snare is louder than everything, which is the way I like to mix anyway. Some people don't like that. I don't really care. I like the snare very loud.
Like.
I want you to hit that snare, and I want it to feel like my chest is going to open up from the crack
Yeah.
of that snare.
Exactly.
It hits and it just pops me in the chest so much that I might die.
Yeah.
I could just maybe listen to a snare album.
Yeah.
Do
For sure.
Do you remember the bit that Conan O'Brien did making fun of Max Weinberg?
I think so. What was he doing though?
All right, so back in that day, like when we were growing up,
It wasn't the infomercial thing, was
yes.
it? Okay.
So when we're growing up, if you're watching TV, you're going to get like, now that's what I call music.
Right.
Or these are the best songs of the 70s. And you'd have like, it's like a Spotify playlist, but it's a CD.
Yeah.
And so in this bit, they were like, this is best of Max Weinberg, who is Bruce Springsteen's drummer.
Yeah.
Very good drummer.
Amazing.
However, most of the songs are super basic. So, like, Born in the USA, it's just like him hitting the snare.
Right.
And then there's, what's the song? Is it the Fire song where he's just doing the hi-hat?
Yeah.
And he's like, and it's just a video
Right.
of Max Weinberg playing the most boring parts ever, but they're hyping it up like, you got to buy this CD.
Right.
This is the best of Max Weinberg.
Dude, I remember that.
Oh my gosh.
That's hilarious.
So good.
That was a genius thing.
So good, man.
As we all know, The Office is no longer on Netflix,
I know. It's,
which saddens me.
well, people should know this is another reason why we became such good friends.
Yeah.
I had never met someone that could quote The Office with me. And now people will look at it now and say, well, yeah, a lot of people can quote The Office. No. Let me take you back before Netflix. Before Netflix, you were pretty dang cool if you knew The Office.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I'm not like tooting my own horn. I'm not saying I was super cool, but like it was very dry humor.
Yeah.
It wasn't that popular.
For sure.
And it just wasn't very mainstream. So to meet someone that could quote The Office, was a big deal.
Yeah.
And you could do it. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can literally say, show me that farm. And you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
With Phyllis's and Kevin's sprouting up right for the plucking.
Show me that farm.
Show me that farm.
All wide-eyed.
Jan. Oh, and that's the other thing you would always do. You would always like,
Oh, the phone?
every time I would get off the phone,
Yeah.
what would you do?
Talk to you later, Jan.
I would just be talking regular
Bring
on the
on my
phone.
Dwight.
And I'm like, all right, I'll talk to you later.
Yeah.
And then you'd be like, talk to you later, Jan. And I'm like, yes, this guy quotes like the good stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I mean, there's so much good stuff on that show anyway. This is like, you can quote some of the most obscure lines ever, and you're just like, oh my gosh, that's amazing.
I know, man. And like, here's one. Nutcracker Christmas.
I'm going to throw my in-ears out.
Nutcracker Christmas.
Hate that sound.
That is Pam. Was that pre-annoying Pam?
Season 3.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think she got really annoying at season 5-ish.
Yeah.
But yeah, it got to the point where you could I could quote something so small,
Yeah.
and you could get it. And it was before people had T-shirts of like,
Oh yeah,
the Office quotes and stuff.
yeah,
So what I'm saying is we're the OGs.
right, for sure.
Now I'm sure there are people who can out quote us because they just binge it on Netflix. But I had the DVDs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I never had the DVDs, but I did have it on my video iPod, which was also a Christmas gift to Ryan in the second season.
No.
$400.
This is a $400 video iPad.
And you were supposed to spend $20 like everybody else, but no.
So anyway,
So we were the OGs before Netflix, and I actually started watching The Office. I think it was in the third season, but I had never seen an episode,
yeah.
and I rented one of the DVDs from Blockbuster. And so they had like 6 episodes on there. And the first one was The Client, which was the second season, kind of like a quarter of the way through, basically, the first part anyway. And so that was my first episode to it. And I was like, I can't stop watching this.
Oh my gosh.
It's so good.
Do you remember my first episode? I think we've talked about this.
Was it Benihana?
No.
No.
I love that episode, but it's not.
That's your,
It's the deposition. It's a shout out to my boy Chris Hodge, who used to be the drummer in my band, and all around good dude. And probably listening are the other members, which is Nice. Of course, you know Nice. Hello, Nice.
Absolutely.
And Matt Rodriguez. You've heard me talk about him. He was the bass player.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Super funny dude.
Cool.
Also, just an all around good, manly man.
Yeah.
I want to have his barbecue. He posts pictures all the time.
Oh.
And my brother, who is a phenomenal woodworker, by the way.
Yeah.
If you need woodworking at all, this is your dude.
Yeah.
Like, people compare me to Ron Swanson, and it's very true. But when it comes to the woodworking, my brother is just insane. And his handle, I guess that's what they call it nowadays, is in-grain woodwork.
Oh, okay.
So he makes like...
On Instagram?
Yeah. He makes charcuterie boards. I got really afraid of saying that word. Charcuterie. Charcuterie.
Yeah.
That's a fun word. It's like Francisco.
What is it? In-grain?
In-grain woodwork. And he does like charcuterie boards. He does cutting boards.
Yeah.
The dude built my niece a playground that's ridiculous. He built his house. Like my dad.
yeah.
My dad's amazing too.
Yeah.
But Jason, my brother, he's ridiculous. So go check him out just because it's cool. But also, if you need something, I mean, he's the man.
You showed me a picture of a screen and porch, and it was amazing.
If you name it and you want it made out of wood,
Yeah.
my brother can do it. So I was watching it with Chris, and I think maybe both of, like, the whole band was there.
Yeah.
And we were watching the deposition, and it was the cafeteria scene where Toby tries to connect with Michael in the cafeteria, and he's like, Michael, I totally know how you feel. My parents went through a divorce when I was a kid. And now as he's saying this sad stuff, like, Michael's just inching his tray off and then dumps his tray on the ground, and I died.
Amazing.
I was like, that is comedy gold.
Yeah.
I was hooked.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Absolutely hooked. And I don't think that was the first episode, because the first couple episodes I didn't really get it. That was the episode that hooked me.
Yeah.
Just him being so mean to Toby.
Yeah.
And Toby's the nicest guy. And he was like trying to connect with him. It's like, man, my family went through a divorce too, and blah, blah, blah. And it just...
Yeah. I think that's a big thing too. If you start out watching The Office in the first season, it's very cringy. And it's like, I don't know, man. Everybody just looks bad. The lighting's bad. And you look back at it, and it's just like, I mean, it was funny. There was a couple funny episodes, but like, you're just like, this is not, it gets better.
I couldn't have watched 9 seasons of
Yeah.
season 1.
Yeah.
But by the way, season 3, the best season.
Yeah.
Hands down. That is the best season. My favorite is branch closing.
Yeah.
That's my favorite episode.
Yeah. That's a good one.
I do love Benihana Christmas.
Yeah.
Season 2 is great too, but season 3
Yeah.
and season 4 is good.
Yeah.
You know, even though they went on strike or whatever.
Right.
Goodbye, Toby.
Oh, yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, the writer's strike. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because after that, I think it was the deposition was the first episode back because they didn't have a Christmas episode because they were on strike during all that stuff.
Yeah.
So they had the first 4 episodes, I believe, or 6, somewhere around there. And then they came back with the deposition. And then right after that was the dinner party, which is my favorite. And you talk about cringeworthy.
What's a $200 plasma screen TV? Good luck paying me back
So good.
with your $0 a year plus benefits, babe.
Oh my gosh.
Oh
And
my
the cops
gosh.
show up. Dwight's like, what seems to be the problem, sir?
Not now,
Dwight.
Not now, Dwight. And him showing up with the massive wine glasses.
Oh, yeah.
Gosh, that episode was so good. Oh, and is the dinner party the one where they're playing charades, and Jim keeps messing with Michael about the Tom Cruise.
Yeah. He was saying every other answer around it. He's like, his name's Tom. He's on a cruise. He's on a Caribbean cruise. And he goes, oh, Katie Holmes. No, nobody's married to her.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, that episode was absolutely
Then
incredible.
he went to Arnold Schwarzenegger. And he was like, he's governor of California. Tom Cruise. No. So good.
Gosh, that show,
It's brilliant.
it's absolutely amazing. But now it's not on Netflix.
Right. Not on Netflix. But I was looking the other day and I was like, I do have Peacock, but I have the free Peacock, which comes with ads and stuff. I mean, it's free, but you got to watch commercials all over again.
Yeah.
And sometimes the commercials are a little lengthy and you're just like, I've seen this episode before. I know what happens. Why do I have to watch commercials?
Yeah.
So I went on Vudu and I actually told you about this.
Yes.
Because I saw the price
Yes.
for all 9 seasons,
$30.
$29.99.
Yes. And I remember you text me,
Yeah.
and 3.5 minutes later, I had already bought it
You bought it.
because
Exactly, dude.
I'm kind of done. Honestly, man, I'm kind of done with all these subscription stuff.
I know, dude.
Because I told you I went to
adding up.
I went to YouTube. One of my other favorite shows is The West Wing.
Right.
So I went and bought all 7 seasons of them for like $75.
Yeah.
Which seems like a lot. But if you subscribe to HBO Max, $15 a month, you know, it's way cheaper. Because the only reason I was going to subscribe to HBO Max was The West Wing. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, HBO Max has everything. Well, that's fine.
Yeah.
Not for me.
Right.
I was literally going to get it just for The West Wing. And I was going to get Peacock just for The Office.
Right.
And now, like you said, I bought The Office for $30 and bought The West Wing for $75. I think now that Vudu has upped the price for The Office to $99. But still, man,
Yeah.
$100 for all 9 seasons, and you
Yeah.
don't have to subscribe to Peacock.
Right.
We're going to put the link, if you're watching on YouTube, we'll put the link below, and we'll put it in our show notes. We'll put it in the podcast show notes.
Yeah.
And where else are we going to put it? Like probably a campaign sign in our front yard,
Right.
the hayride,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly.
Where else are we going to put it?
Billboard. I rented one.
Yes. So
$7,000 a minute. It's a pretty good deal.
what, I think you should go buy The Office for $100.
Sure.
But also maybe watch it next week or two, and maybe it'll go back down to 30. I literally bought 9 seasons of the best show ever for $30.
Yeah. That's 2 Netflix payments, by the way.
Yeah. So anyway, check the Voodoo link below or in our show notes or on the Hayride every Tuesday at 3:30 p.m. Mr. Bill. Not Mr. Bill. Mr. Bill. Oh. SNL.
They kill him.
SNL.
He always gets killed.
And Miss Sandra is probably going to make cookies for the Hayride.
Sorry. COVID. I'm kidding. I don't have it.
All right,
Whoops.
man. Well, I think it's time we end this thing.
Yeah.
I think I want to go have a cigar
Yeah.
at Lajero. Hopefully Ken and Nate and Chuck and Joe
Hopefully we'll smoke on here one day.
will be there. Oh, we're going to smoke on here.
Not in this room, but
No, I if I ever want to not be married, the way to do that is to smoke cigars in this room. Both of us.
well, there you go.
And let's see how that works out.
least you have an
May not
outline.
have a podcast either.
That's
you know? But no, we'll definitely smoke outside.
Yeah, for sure.
Dude, and that's another thing. Me and Nathan love cigars.
We do.
And I think one of the reasons I love cigars is because it forces you to slow down. It's something you have to commit
Very chill activity.
an hour and a half to.
Yep.
And so a lot of times you have really good conversations. Kind of like a podcast.
Right. Right.
Right. Hey, Nathan. Show me that farm. With Phyllis's Kevin. Right for the plucking. Show me that farm. All right, guys. Thank you very much. We'll see you next episode.